Hey, all you cool cats. Ready for a little fun? That's what I thought. Pop Talk, Scooby-Doo-Wah-Doo-Wah, Pop Talk. The fun never stops, you know. Pop Talk. If you're a nerd or a jock, run, don't just walk. Get ready to rock, you got Pop Talk.
Now, from Funko Hollywood, it's time for Pop Talk.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Pop Talk. I'm your guest host, Funmaker Mike for today. Wait till you see who we have. You may know him as Peter Brady. I know him as Christopher Knight. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Fun guy.
Yeah. Well, get ready. This is gonna be a tough one.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I've been made into vinyl, so and that was painless. How did you do that?
Well, we'll get into that. I specifically asked Brian if he wouldn't mind I do the Pop Talk today because obviously I'm a huge fan, grew up with you. What we're gonna do while I ask you these questions is I'm gonna ask you to build your own pop. It can be whatever you want.
While we're talking.
You gotta try to do it. I know it's gonna,
You don't know me well, do you? Doing anything and talking is impossible, walking and talking. Didn't you watch the Brady Bunch? Didn't you see that was a problem?
Big Pete Brady intercepts and goes for a shot.
We don't need to go there.
All right, Funko. We're a collectibles company.
Yes, you are.
Let me ask you this. Do you, Christopher Knight, collect anything?
You know, I don't. And I've reflected on why, because I used to think everybody was like me. Mm-hmm. And then I witnessed the crowd outside and inside your store and realized that there's more people collecting collectibles than people like me that didn't, and I think the reason is that I didn't have room for them. I had a brother who shared the room with me, and he pretty much would take or destroy much of what I had. So there was no lifelong ability to invest too long in stuff. I built models, and then I built rockets, and I have ADD, so I think maybe that I always needed to focus on something new, so I never stuck with anything.
Right.
And then it turns out my dad kind of was, it turned out a hoarder, so I prefer to strip things from my life, so the collecting thing didn't happen.
Yeah, I hear you. The older I get, the more, I have 8 pallets of stuff in a warehouse that's pretty well curated, but they're collections and things, and I'm starting to rethink that myself.
To the point where my dad would collect things that I threw out, like my scripts. And then at the end of it all, there was 117 Brady scripts. And then I treated them with complete respect. I just put them in a box and put them into storage. And by the time I turned my attention to them, they were like termite holes through them. It was just and I guess that would be the one thing that I ended up collecting, but I didn't really collect it, my dad did.
One thing we could do, you could sign each one and hand them over to me.
Oh, I did get rid of them finally.
Oh, you did?
Even with the wormholes or termite holes. So, yes, yes. But I can point you in the direction of others who might still have a collection.
That would be fun. I wouldn't mind having at least one. Okay, have you ever been to Comic-Con? You know what that is, right?
I do. I have not been to Comic-Con. I've been to other Comic-Cons that are kind of derivative, but not like the San Diego, the major event. And then I come into your store 2 years ago. It was just amazing to me, not only how many different pop dolls there are, but how many people were lined up waiting to get into the store because no more people could get in.
It's crazy. I think people see, they see their childhood, but they feel something, I don't think people, they take them out, they put them on their desk or whatever, and it makes you feel good. It's whether you relate to advertising figures, athletes, or whatever the latest pop culture, Marvel or DC movie might be, and it just kind of is a little reminder. It makes you feel good.
No, absolutely. It reminds you of a more innocent time. And I think, and if I go look back at I think we're about 10 years apart. And growing up in the 60s, there was really only like Army Men, and G.I. Joe had come out. And I didn't get into G.I. Joe. So I was that, kind of an earlier version of a child that just collected models that you built and then they fell apart.
Yeah, Monogram and Revell.
Revell.
Yeah.
Revell, yeah. Like I built everything that Revell came out with.
I was a big fan of Ed Roth, like Ed Big Daddy Roth, and all those crazy model kits that
See, I'm not even familiar with those. Those are probably in your time frame. 10 years later,
Yeah.
I was building like the USS Constitution
Oh,
and things like that. You know,
Here's one for you. So, what was your favorite cartoon growing up as a kid?
I love them all, but I think it was Gigantor.
Oh, whoa, that was one of
Gigantor.
my
And I
favorites.
didn't know what I was watching at the time. Later, I
Right.
learned that's anime, sort of, or
Yeah.
but Gigantor.
You're the only one that's ever said that, and I'm a massive fan. That was my favorite, and you know, that was a precursor to Speed Racer.
Exactly. Now, do you have a Gigantor pop doll?
Yes.
I might have to collect one.
Yeah, there you go. That's how we get you.
See, and this is exactly what you were referencing, is that they remind you of something from your childhood. And like you asked the question, and it just came to me that Gigantor was meaningful. And in the same way that I believe today everyone is affected by like the DC universe or Marvel's universe, with superheroes, because he was a superhero. You know, for a kid to have a buddy that was Gigantor, nothing could get to you.
I always loved that because the kid could control him with his little.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Way,
And I always
way
thought,
before its time.
I'd love to have that to just deal with bullies or whatever. Kill. Right.
It's coming. It's still it's not in black and white anymore, but the real article is around the corner.
Gigantor, Speed Racer, Marine Boy. I don't know if you remember.
Marine Boy. No, I don't remember. I remember Speed Racer, but I was already adult at that time and not watching. But
Yeah.
it was at that point in the lexicon of pop culture. And there was another one though that I was affected by, and that's Felix the Cat.
Oh yeah,
Love Felix the Cat.
I think that's Fleischer. We've done Felix as a pop. I did him as a bobblehead, back as a wacky wobbler. I love Felix. It's still a really cool character.
He really is. And then Mr. Magoo, which I'm becoming more aware that I'm like as I grow older.
Yeah, I get you. Don't forget to build your pop here.
I got a pop.
It's a lot of fun.
Let me build a pop.
Hey, what's the first music that you purchased with your own money?
I have a strange and dysfunctional relationship with music.
Yeah.
Because of my lack of talent in it, and then because of our experience with it as Brady's music, which I had no right being actually a performer. I might have enjoyed it more had I not sort of developed this dysfunctional relationship. So I didn't really, certainly the Beatles, but I didn't start collecting until I was probably 18 or 19. And then it was everything that was popular at the time. Doobie Brothers, America, BTO, ELP, Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship.
Yeah. Well, then, speaking of music, what's your favorite all-time song?
No, that's now you're really going to trouble me.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. It's probably Let It Be. It's something Beatles.
Yeah, that's a good one. Tell us more about the saying, create the life you love.
Create the life you love is a slogan that we use with Christopher Neidhall. So I got involved with furniture through a friend who was a business partner from the high-tech space. We got involved with furniture, and it took off. And the idea there is that what you like and what makes you comfortable is yours.
If you want to mix mid-century with Moroccan, do it.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to get into the next level of questioning.
Uh-oh.
Childhood heroes, influences, or inspiration?
Robert Reed, definitely, very close to home as a person from whom I learned that my perspective mattered, which was meaningful in a lot of different ways, especially in context of the environment that we worked in.
What's it like? Do you still keep in touch with a lot of your Brady Bunch cast mates, members?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, Barry and I just recently started, as of February 1, our own podcast called The Real Brady Bros, where we are doing an episode recap of the Brady, which is interesting because there's a number of them out there where castmates will get together and talk about their show, but not with this kind of arc, not 50 years ago. Because we're challenged with just remembering.
Yeah.
So we have the shows that we haven't watched for 40 years that we watch, and then we're getting caught up with our own audience who's continued to watch the show in doing our podcast. And finding it for us, it's a great deal of fun. It's like childhood reminiscing, but your audience also takes interest and pleasure in it because they were there for part of it as well.
Well, speaking of Barry too, and then 40, 50 years now of the quotes and people kind of, what's the most famous quote, obviously, from the shows that you guys?
Well, we almost all of us have our own. The most famous of all is going to be Eve's or Jan's, which is Marsha.
Yeah.
Right, and then Peter's is pork chops and applesauce.
Right.
You know, I mean, to the point where, you know, I was recognizing this long ago and how it started. Who the hell knows? It makes no frickin' sense. But you know, having said pork chops and applesauce, and people always asking me to say it back, I realized it was a phenomena there.
Pork chops and applesauce.
So I called my production company as Pork Chop Phenomenon Inc. Because I'm the only person on this planet that has a pork chop phenomenon.
So do you think it's a blessing or a curse?
You know, Barry and I just recorded our Hawaii episodes, and they'll be dropping as of next week. And we talk about this. What's the flips? I mean, the shows are, if you watch the shows, again, we watch them for the first time in 40 years or so. The message there is that, well, you know, you could read it both ways.
We had that 3D
I
printed.
say,
It's a blessing.
Barry sells them.
Does he?
I say, don't risk it.
Bad luck, come and get me.
Yeah.
I say, look it, you know, it's a novel little thing in my life, but I don't, I mean, obviously it's not the item, but who knows? And who needs the bad luck if it's there? So.
We 3D printed this yesterday just for that gag.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Barry sells these things, and I try to get through to him. I go, you know, he thinks it's good, and I'm thinking, has everything gone right, you know, over the last 20 years? He doesn't hear that part. It's just commerce for him. He's a businessman. But that's, yeah, thank you.
So going back to your furniture company, I know that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on the Oprah show, that was a big moment, right?
Wow, that was out of nowhere. I mean,
Really?
and I, you know, it was taken by surprise. People assume a lot when watching something like that, like set dresser was supplied the chairs by our company, and that wasn't the case. They had what we call the briquettes that they were sitting in, but that people paid attention to the damn chair. Humans are unique.
Well, speaking of that, any advice for someone who is looking to reinvent themselves, like a career pivot? Like, is there any advice that you would like to give?
A career pivot. Well, probably have realistic expectations. Happiness through setting realistic expectations, because everybody's going to be disappointed if their expectations don't live up. Most people perhaps have expectations that are wildly out of balance with a chance. If you set some realistic expectations in this new world, they could come true. A little bite at a time, because it's not worth being stuck in something that is truly soulless.
Okay, great advice. We're moving on to a section of the show we call Rapid Fire Fun. Your chair has been hooked up with electronic. No. Here. So
Come and get me.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you.
Bad luck.
Yeah, you touched it already.
Bad luck. I can't believe I'm doing this, because this is exactly what you want to do. Don't come and get me.
So I'm gonna give you 10 quick questions, and you answer them as fast as you can.
Okay.
Favorite breakfast cereal growing up as a kid?
Cheerios. I hated it, but it was the only one we had.
If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Flying.
What lunch pail did you have as a kid?
I had a NASA, it was a moon thing. It was, I don't think it was anything. It was space.
Favorite ride at Disneyland?
Was the Matterhorn in the day, and then it would be the haunted house later.
Favorite ice cream?
Creamsicle.
Creamsicle. Favorite movie of all time?
I don't know. A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, interesting. Good one. Best childhood gift you ever received?
I guess it'd have to be the camera and the projector gifted to myself and the rest of the castmates from Rubbery.
Favorite place you've ever traveled to outside of the U.S.?
Italy.
Okay, I'll accept that. Favorite video game?
I loved Empire was the early, DOS-based, almost like Battleship, but
Wrong, Space Invaders. Okay. which Brady would you have traded places with?
Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been trading very far. It'd been very close to home.
Favorite Pop Talk host of all time?
Pop Talk
host. Okay. All right,
Did I
correct.
get that one right?
Okay, well, that about wraps it up. The big question. Christopher Knight, what was it like to be popped as Peter Brady?
Wild. I didn't even know I was being popped.
Didn't you?
That happened a lot. I mean, you just get popped, then you see yourself with a number, and you see yourself being strikingly similar to others.
All right, well, that about wraps it up. Thank you,
I don't
sir.
know who I
Let's see what
invented
you
here,
built.
but it looks like I'm getting close to Kingsman.
I like it.
Referee.
It's got its little partner here.
Yeah, there you go. He's a
Hey,
professor.
Curse forever.
A little bit Poindexter-ish.
Yeah, I like it. It's creative, it's fun, like you. And so Christopher Knight Home, is that the website?
Christopher Knight Home is the website and the brand. Available on Overstock and Amazon.com, Target.com. And also now the Real Brady Bros with Barry. Available wherever podcasts are available, Apple and so forth.
Great. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Mike,
Thank you so much. There you have it, another episode of Pop Talk. Take care, everyone.